Yoshi Felicia Oh. Welcome. Big pleasure to have Jacques Machado, black belt, longtime Rickson Gracie student from the early days.
Right.
Big pleasure to have you on the show.
Yay!
Wow, thanks for inviting me.
A legend.
You are a legend too. Yeah, I saw you in Japan, Japanese TV.
Oh, nice.
Fight.
In Japan or here in the U.S.?
Oh, God.
Oh, you got a DVD or something?
Both.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I went back and forth back
Oh,
in
nice.
those days.
Yeah,
Two,
yeah.
3 times per year.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, when I went against Yuki Nakai.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was cool. Like, hey, man, I even got to compete against him, right? You know, after watching him going against Rickson Gracie in the
Right.
Pride, it was not Pride. It was Japan Vale Tudo, right?
Yeah, I went to see the Rickson's second fight, 95. with
Wow.
all other guys together.
Wow.
That was
Wow.
What was that?
So that was the Yuki Nakai fight, right?
No. Oh yeah, Yuki Nakai's fight.
But that was the fight. That was the
Right.
fight that
And,
you went.
the Gordo.
Yeah.
And
Gerard Gordeau.
Right.
And then Yuki Nakai in the finals.
finals.
So you were there for that event.
Yep.
Wow. Can't even imagine that.
Did you started training already at that point? Or you were just going as a spectator?
I started training. I think it's before UFC era, because I didn't even know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu period. Because at the time I had a kickboxing class, the Sabate kickboxing
Okay.
guy, Fernando, was teaching at my garage. Because I didn't even know anything about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And then one day he came back. We're talking about who's the best street fight, who's the best fighting style. And he said, Gracie brothers. What's that? I asked him. He said, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Jiu-Jitsu is Japanese. I was very curious about it, right? So he found the Rickson school right near my place, right near my office. I used to live there too. Only several blocks from my house.
Like West LA,
And
right?
then he came back the day. He said, first class is free, and hardly anybody there. So he taught us how to control, how to armbar. Wow, that's interesting. I should check it out. So next day, I immediately went there.
What year was that?
That was 80s. So right before UFC. So could have been 93, the end of 93 or something like that. They're talking about some kind of ultimate fighting. They're going to find the fighters from all over the world competing each other.
With the different styles.
Different styles. Wow. That and anyway, I went there immediately. I was expecting a huge guy because Fernando told me they accept any challenge, anytime. So like a wrestler went there, defeated, and then all those street fighter went there, easily defeated. So I was expected huge guys waiting for me, right? So there's a skinny 2 Brazilian guys like my size. Luis and Mauricio was standing there with a nice smile.
Luis Limão. Herrera, right?
And, you want to take a class? Class is free. Well, because they're promoting, because hardly any students there.
Yeah.
So...
Wait, did you go with the intention to challenge them?
No. I wanted to find out.
Yeah.
Because I was a little overconfident with the different martial arts previously.
I think Rickson or Jacques, somebody posted the bloody picture of the...
recently of Anjo, yeah.
I was already training there at the time.
Oh, okay.
I was there that particular morning.
When he went to go challenge Rickson? He flew in from Japan to challenge Rickson?
I know. Before get there, so first class was free, and the first private was free.
Oh wow. Those are the days, huh?
Because hardly any students, only Brazilians were training.
For free.
But after UFC, everybody started coming back. And then if you want to come back for after 40 minutes private, and if you come back for the class, we don't charge you for neither.
Wow.
So I came back. So I was taking private, because private was only $40. So twice per week, I take a private, and then if you pay for private, class is free. So that's why I take advantage.
Wow.
So
Wow.
what was that class like? Was it just rolling, or would they show more technique?
There's no exact time. It's so I could go there.
Class started
anytime, and
late,
it's
it
so
was-
always somebody looking for training or partner or guinea pig. And
So there's no
that was-
structure at all. No class schedule.
When the Rickson teaches the hardcore warm-ups, like half an hour, all kinds of stretching and carry other guys and squatting and shrimp things and all those basic, like a judo. And yeah, when the Rickson's another teacher teaches certain techniques, and then we roll, but mostly sparring.
And was every roll a death match?
And at the time, we had it's not a challenger, but people watching, like wrestlers or Kyokushin guys from New York. So would you like to join us? So sometimes they do. And that's like a semi-challenge, right? So always, usually.
So guys from other gyms maybe would come and watch the training.
At the time, it's different martial artists, like a wrestler or Greco-Roman guys or karate guys. Even before UFC, some hardcore martial artists, they knew Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for some reason.
Wow. I
So-
remember those times, 94, like,
Oh, and the Anjos, because I was working so I couldn't get, because Anjo came in the morning, right? Like 7 o'clock with all those news reporters. And
Andrew?
Anjo.
Andrew, oh yeah.
from
Oh, the
Japan.
challenger, going to the challenger, yeah.
Right. So Rickson was still sleeping. So I was working, so I couldn't get there. But during the lunchtime, I was training every day during the
Okay.
lunchtime. So I came to the lunchtime. It's already intense atmosphere. And bloody Rickson's T-shirts were hanging at his office. And then everybody's talking and intense energy. So what happened?
Wait, so
"Oh,
you
Yoshi,
got there
you
after
didn't
the
know
fight.
what happened?
You got there after the fight had already happened.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow, it's still intense. And then the broken, what do you call the handrail around the corner, because he pushed the Anjo all the way to the corner, and then that broke the 2x4 to 4x4. Wow, that's
That's
all
marked
started Japanese Vale Tudo scene.
from that.
Thank for the Anjo.
Yeah. Because then
And
the
then also-
marketing, the news spread, right? All over.
And the little small window was covered with the T-shirts and newspaper, because Anjo brought several news reporter, a cameraman. So they try to promote those challenge match for their promotion.
And then Rickson took the challenge.
Rickson even didn't even know. He thought that was Takada, because Takada was writing the fax to Rickson.
Access
Fax.
before
Who's
emails.
Anjo?
Man, what a
Wow,
different
that-
time. What a different
That's
time.
changed the whole.
You know, you're from the not early days, you're from the garage days. Literally from the garage days.
That was like a garage.
Yeah.
Because I had a Pixels private at his garage as well.
Yeah.
Because I used to
40 bucks a lesson.
No. He came before the Japanese Vale Tudo. I was treating his shoulder. Or so.
Oh, you're treating because you were a
I
chiropractor.
was acupuncturist. and
Acupuncture as well.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that acupuncturist and
A
chiropractor?
chiropractor.
Interesting.
Now I'm not doing that anymore. That anyway, So Rickson, I didn't charge for him, of course, because Yoshi, I give you private, so for the exchange.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was incredible.
Wow.
The way he teaches.
Wow.
So put me in your guard. Do the arm bar.
Mm.
So I did. One more time. Do the arm bar. So he showed me lift the hips up and then and I saw such a detail oriented guy. At the time as a white belt, blue belt, I didn't get it. It's the way his little subtle movement and balance. And it's so detailed. Only few people can understand. But now I really appreciate that.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
How long were you able to train with him, like one-on-ones like that?
4 or 5 times I trained with him because I also went to his Palisade house for house school, and then he gave me the lesson at his garage.
I see. So you would treat him. You would
Yep.
treat him, and then he would teach you.
Yeah. And Chrome was like this little.
Hoxton was around.
Hodgson was around, and I trained with the Hodgson a few times. He's a great teacher too. Yeah. Oh, that was the good old days.
What do you miss about those times?
Wow, it's like it's not as commercial because nobody knows about it, right? It's a real pure fighting spirit, or sort of it's hard to explain because I don't think that those era will never come back.
Yeah.
It's hard to recreate because now it's
so
commercially
real.
so famous.
It was so real. It was
but-
so real.
But the challenge was real, so they have to take it seriously. It's not even I went to Japanese Vale Tudo, 95, 2 or what was that? I forgot the name of the event, but that was the second event big event in Japan.
Vale Tudo Open, right? Or Vale Tudo.
That was a 94, right?
94.
The first one, but I didn't go there. And 95, we had all the tour, went to Japan.
That's when they made the choke video for that.
I think so.
that-
yeah,
that
yeah. And the Hodgson
second
was
show.
there too.
Yeah, Hoxton, his wife.
Kim was there, his wife at the time. And I was training there already for a year or so, but I didn't know Rickson can deal with this big Japanese wrestler or American guy with a big, I forgot what his discipline was. I was a little concerned, worried
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. It's bare knuckle,
And then
right?
also- right.
That-
Yeah.
Vale Tudo.
But and then I asked him, "Are you right the day of the fight, Rickson? Are you nervous? How do you feel?" Yoshi, I'm not nervous at all. I slept like a baby last night. Actually, he looks so excited. That's in his blood. So he went through those Vale Tudo fight for years before that. So
Yeah.
he already get used to it. And also, he was really enjoying it. I could tell.
Yeah. My mom saw the choke video. That was about the Vale Tudo, that event actually.
Yeah,
with Rickson Gracie.
I was there.
And actually, we talked a little bit about that, like about her, what she thought about me doing jujitsu. And actually, after she saw the Rickson, the documentary, Rickson Gracie documentary, she's like, okay, this is good. This is good
That's
stuff.
great.
Because she saw how he interacted with the family and how he spoke about nature and just the world. And so she felt like
start
He's a real gentleman too.
just how he interacted and how he was as a person. It was smart. It was intelligence. And so she felt it. It wasn't just barbaric, right? And so she
she's very intuitive, very good,
yeah,
excellent.
yeah, my
She
mom
can
was
sense that.
yeah. And so she after that, and so he sold I guess my family on me doing just supporting me. That was one of the things. And then she saw what it did for me, how much focus it gave me as a young man.
And then, yeah, also, I'm glad I discovered jiu-jitsu because before I was doing more kickboxing, taekwondo, and all that. And then also, yeah, we had a kickboxing class twice per week at my garage. But I started missing I received high kick from the young guys. My timing's getting off. I started wondering how long I can keep these things. It's getting stressful. So I was started wondering how long I can do this. So then Fernando discovered Rickson School right nearby. So that's really saved my life because I was frustrated.
How old were you at the time? How old were you at the time?
I was already 44, 45. So my standing kicking game is losing the balance and timing. I didn't want to admit, but I started receiving high kick to my head.
Yeah.
And so I'm the perfect timing.
Did you grow up doing martial arts as a kid in Japan?
No. That was after a little bit over 20, because this is another story.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I was small and sick a lot. And I went to elementary school with painkiller because never know when headache would start, and pounding headaches I couldn't control, so I have to carry painkiller all the time. And then sick a lot, stomach indigestion to sinus. And then the worst one was constipation. I was completely depending on laxatives.
As a kid?
As a kid.
Wow.
And then that became a normal. So it's, 3-4 days, no elimination, 2 weeks.
Wow.
2 weeks, and then I have to take a stronger medication, stronger pills. And 3 weeks, no bowel movement. And end up with usually enema. So by myself as a kid. It's embarrassing to say, but that's the only way I can feel free, sort of. So that's a vicious cycle of those.
And is that what how did you get better? What healed you?
I was completely depending on the pills and laxatives and treatment.
Drugs, yeah.
Nothing really helped. 'Cause the more I depending on the pills, of course, the more I depending on, and the body loses the function to eliminate by itself. That's I'm so appreciate martial art I discovered. Remember? Oh, you guys, different generation. The Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon. When was that? 74, 73? Came out. And I went to see the movie many, many times. Wow. The guy with the same height, 5'6", 135 pounds, beat all the big guys with ease. Wow. I'm going to start this. So I joined the local martial art class. I was really into it. First time in my life, I found some passion. And then I started joining the gym and training and running. And 2-3 months, God, I don't have any headaches anymore. And then I should stop taking laxative as well. But that took me a little longer, because more than a year. But eventually I get rid of all the
everything.
symptoms, all the addictions are gone. So the things that I learned was when you're depending on, we talked about sleeping pill. I was taking sleeping pill as well. And that helps in the short term. In the long run, that doesn't even help.
Because you have to take more, right?
Because once it's the more effective the treatment, more effective the medication, the more you're depending on. But that's only work on the symptoms, not the cause of the problem. That and then I became an acupuncturist and a chiropractor. And then another things I learned was...
So it's intertwined with the martial arts, always.
Exactly.
Always interesting.
It works great. The more effective the treatment, the more people depending on. And then also I started to feel guilty. Because I'm depending on the people depending on me. Because keep coming back for quick fix, basically.
To get adjusted.
Exactly. I was addicted to treatment myself because we had partner chiropractors and masseurs and shiatsu guys working for me. So I received treatment all the time. And if that makes you feel good. But does it change anything? Hardly any. And I started to feel frustrated right before encounter the jiu-jitsu. So God, I don't know, am I creating acupuncture chiropractic junkie? Because personally, I'm addicted, but I don't go to chiropractor acupuncturist for my neck pain. I rather go to yoga class to do my work.
Do some movement practice.
Exactly.
Stuff that you can do to heal yourself.
Right. And then also process of healing by yourself is the key, important too. Yeah, so...
So you don't look for outside, but you go within and find the solution
And
within.
then also, you don't want to just get rid of the symptom. Also, another big impact for me, I went to the Taekwondo tournament back in '87. And I kicked the leg, high kick to the other guy. I wound up division or something. But next day I couldn't get up. It was shooting pain down to my leg and sciatica. And then I went to so many acupuncturists, chiropractor. Nothing.
Nobody could help you.
Nothing worked. And the one time that scared me was I went to my friend's bodybuilder chiropractor. So he adjusted me. Oh, I felt a little better. But next day, pain moved to the other side. Oh, that scared me. And then I determined this is not the treatment responsibility. I knew I can kick my right leg to the head level, but my left hardly hip level. So I knew the imbalances, but I didn't want to take action to change it until this pain started. So I started stretching to the tighter side every day, for hours and hours in between my work. But nothing changed. So I was so frustrated, and I don't know it's going to work or not. And then every day, but still day and night, I stretch in between my work. 7th month, one day, pain's literally gone. Oh, that was incredible. So my theory was right. So finally, because I created the imbalance. I knew I had an imbalance and tight upper back and left and right imbalances. I always cross-leg to one side over the other. Those little tiny habits over the long run create incredible imbalance.
And so you stretch the other side, try to balance it out.
Right, exactly. So it took me 7 months exact, but what am I doing? Because if the chronic back pain, chiropractic acupuncture doesn't work, I started to feel guilty. I just giving a quick fix because that's what most people want. And then I was depending on the keep coming back office visit. Actually, I had a teaching stretch class and yoga class after after my work. I have a little small dojo behind my office, and some people came, but most people they don't want to
Do the work.
do the work. Just give me a good treatment. That's all I want. So I started to feel, God, I have to get out of this business. I'm more interested in maximize my health by myself. And at the time, I discovered jiu-jitsu as my another passion.
So
Perfect timing, yeah.
So you went a different way after that.
So eventually, I rented out my office space, and I'm focused on more jiu-jitsu and stretching and running and other. Because nobody's gonna maximize my health but myself. But also another things I learned, we don't want to just get rid of the pain or symptom of my sciatica. The pain and symptom is the most important part of the healing process, because pain taught me how imbalanced my lifestyle was. I knew it, but until pain started, I didn't want to take action. But after that kind of serious pain, I have to really work my strength. Now, and also my exercise was so one-dimensional. Initially, I was doing a lot of lifting without even aware of my posture, so that created incredible imbalance. And then I didn't know I had a spondylo. It's a fracture of the spine, separated from sacrum. L5 was separated like a quarter of an inch forward. I didn't even know until I took an X-ray. But it was still strong muscle can compensate to it, or flexible strong muscle and balance. So for me, sickness and injury is the important part of the healing process. We don't want to just get rid of the body's message to us.
It teaches you, right? It
Exactly.
teaches you what you need to work on. Like pain
and
is like, okay, why do I have pain?
So something I need to change. Something what I've been doing is not right. Without pain, we repeat the same things over and over again. So pain is like a warning. Pain and the symptoms.
Yeah. Your brain is telling you, your central nervous system is telling you, right?
Right, exactly.
You have to change something.
And then also, see, for me, the martial art is the ultimate form of healing tool, because we beating each other, we try to penetrate the weakness. We know each other's pattern, right? So if you don't change your pattern, always other guys gonna penetrate in the same manner. So this is the great focus. Unless I change my same old pattern, same old game, eventually people figure it out. So I have to change. But at the same time, I'm so stubborn. It's hard to change the way I am. Always the same old game, same old trap.
You know, you said it took you 7 months of stretching it. Like, was it every day you did it?
More than every day.
More than all day, every day.
Like a time, 20 minutes here, 10 minutes here in between my.
Did you feel like it was improving? You said it.
No improvement at all. I was so frustrated.
So why did you keep going? Why didn't you stop?
Because what's the other option? There's nothing else to do. Because I didn't believe in the surgery. I didn't want to go through other. Because I already experienced chiropractic acupuncture didn't work at all for me. And then one case is pain switched to the other. That's even scared me. So that's the only hope. I was crying, I was screaming, and when the pain starts, but nothing else I could do. I was almost praying, oh please. And the seventh day, one morning, it's like a miracle. But it did came back after I started abusing my training.
Again.
But it's not long term.
Jiu-jitsu brought it back.
I have to go. Yeah. I have to go back to the stretching and more spines.
Part of the practice. Then there we go. Right, we talk about the tack fit.
Look, so
things,
the pain
That's
and
how I feel.
injury will tell. And also another time, also injury taught me a lot because I had a knee meniscus surgery, right? Like 12 years ago. So, because I started thinking, how did it happen? What did I do wrong? I know what did I do wrong.
Who were you rolling
I was
with?
training at somewhere.
Too much spider guard, too much knee slicing.
No. I was training with a blue belt guy, like 175, 80 pounds, and I was 135. And I was a purple belt. I can beat this guy. But she's kind of heavy, but all good position. I swept the guy, and it did swept, but something clicked. I blame my ego. That's how the meniscus torn started. Stupid.
What happened after that? Did it click in and out? Or
No, it's click like a, what do you call it? Peel that off. So once it hit the nerve, that hurts. I couldn't even. So eventually I went to Japan and had a surgery done.
Oh, okay.
But it took me more than a year to restore my flexibility.
Yeah.
Because a year later, I went back to the doctor, and then she checked the flexibility. It was like 95% of the other side. He was mad. You gotta keep stretching, but it hurts. Doesn't matter. You gotta keep stretching. In other words, you're not gonna recover. So, yeah. So I started stretching. Oh, before knee surgery, my hip was like this. After last 10 years, I really working on my hip flexibility because if you have tight hip, affect your knee. Knees moves more to compensate.
Right.
So that really I started focusing on my hip joint. So last several years, I'm glad I don't have the knee problem anymore, but also improve the hip. So that helped me to do like a little rubber guard thing.
Awesome.
That's the only way to control the big guys, if they can let me.
Mobility.
Yeah. So now I'm motivated to work on my.
It's interesting you say that with the hips, like because the knees, you're like, oh, it's the knee. But man, how are your hips?
Absolutely.
Right? How are your hips or your ankles?
But same with back too.
Right.
A lot of the back.
Right.
Yeah, my lower back pain probably related to tight upper. But this year, after 72 years of birthday, I decided.
72 this year?
This year. I decided I've been neglected to do back bend. So I decided to do more stretching because I hardly any back mobility. So if I don't improve that, it's gonna
Affect your
hurt
hips.
my lower back.
So that's
So
your,
it's body's all related.
Yeah.
that's your new mission now. You're
So
gonna do
the
back bends.
chiropractic, acupuncture can do so many things, but you can do so much. Actually, only you can do
I
to
believe
maximize
that.
your health.
Did I ever tell you my meniscus story about the guy in Brazil? So I tore my meniscuses as well. I think both knees.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, one was really bad, and I never got surgery. And I did it when I was like 18, and I moved to Brazil, and they were clicking in and out. Always like I wore like a big knee brace even at the pans like in '96, and it was before the rules. So I would like hit the people with the knee brace. But anyway, I was in Brazil, and the thing didn't click back in. and it was locked up, yeah. And I was in so much pain. Basically, I couldn't walk. I had to stay at home, for I don't know that week, And then one of my friends was like, "I have this guy you can see, but you have to believe, okay?" I'm like, "Okay." I mean, what choice did I have at that point?
So now you're fine now, right?
Yeah, and so I went to this. We drove into like a not even like a favela, but like a kind of slums. We kept driving, kept driving, and I just kept telling myself, "Okay, believe, believe, believe." And then I got there, and this guy comes out like this witch doctor guy, he had like long hair, and he had like this one long nail. And I'm like, "Okay, believe, believe, believe." And man, he touched my knee. He's like, blah, 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 blah. And he put his fingernail across my knee. Okay. And so it had been clicking in and out for probably a couple of years at that point. After that day, it never clicked out again. I wish I had that guy's number.
Even with that guy, it could heal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. I believe that everything you're saying. That's how I feel too. Just with all the type of movement, like, man, so much. We need to have those tools, right?
Yeah, and then
even
also,
if you get something, sometimes you have to get surgery, or maybe that is the best option. But
yeah, cruciate ligament. Remember the Gregor? He had a torn cruciate ACL. So every time he clicks out, he pushes back. He doesn't want to have any surgery. He's fine.
Yeah.
So So now, I believe that.
Yeah.
Most of even my lower back disc is bulging and space is very narrow. It's scary if you look at the X-ray. And but as a chiropractor, I saw so many incredibly deformed and smashed, no space at all, X-ray, but hardly any symptoms.
Working perfectly fine.
Yeah, if that happens
It's all
gradually, but sometimes the severe symptoms, perfect X-ray spine. How do you explain that? So it's
an opinion, right?
Exactly.
Pretty much, yeah.
So mostly we can heal ourselves, but we need to change our balance, change our lifestyle, change the way we are. But that's the difficult part. Most people, they don't want to change the way they are. They want to stick to their daily pattern. That's why same symptoms keep coming back.
But also, Yoshi, a lot of our conversations have been about that, but also that in your life, not just in the physical realm, right? And specifically to jiu-jitsu as well, like changing the patterns, being responsible for
because
what you
we
do.
attacking each other's weak area, same pattern. Because everybody knows my game, so unless I change my game, I just stuck. I cannot go anywhere.
You got to switch up your game, right? Evolve your game.
Exactly.
Yosh, tell me, we've talked about this, and when I came back after taking, 5 years, 6 years, whatever, off, and I remember I went and trained with you and Mike. So Mike Riddell is a man that got me into jiu-jitsu, and they're good friends, and he's 78.
78.
He's 78.
79 this year.
Wow.
Yeah, so they have like kind of a master's little training on Sundays.
Right.
And I went up and hung out with them, and just having this incredible conversation with you guys was so inspiring to me. And can you tell us about your journey through the belts and then what it meant when you got your black belt and how that changed your mind about things?
Well, first of all, when I got promoted, I didn't want to have black belt. It's too much pressure because I just enjoy my game. But remember, I refused when the Jacques, Yoshi, this holding the black belt. Oh, Jacques, you make a mistake. So I don't deserve black belt yet. But of course, I couldn't refuse. What was your question?
Well, how did that change your mind that when you got your black belt?
I mean,
your approach to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, sorry.
Right. But I didn't change right away because I was busy defending because I felt like I have to defend my black belt. And I feel like all those purple belt, brown belt training is like oh, let's check this new black belt. Let's beat this. So I felt like extra challenge, but that was only probably my imagination. So after years of struggle, I almost quit because pressure's too much. Because the pressure is not from outside. Pressure I created by myself with my fear.
Again, you're going on the outside rather than going
So
within.
it took me like a year or two to overcome that extra unnecessary pressure I created. Then after that, just I don't have to prove anything. And I started enjoy the game again, and then also less injury. I learned from the injury not to get injured, how to prevent. It's more don't fight. It's like if I try to fight with the strength, I have a tendency to injury.
What changed your mindset? You know, you said it took a couple of years. I use the ego, but
Right, because and also I don't
Is
want to
this-
go through the injury because more if
But
it's not
is it-
enjoyable.
is there something that happened that you're like one day to the next, like, hey, I'm gonna change my mind?
It's more like a gradual process because I
Okay.
knew I have to change. In other words, I cannot because I cannot if I don't enjoy the training. What's the point? I started jiu-jitsu to
For
get me
you, right?
excited.
Not for
Yeah,
anybody else.
So that was a little struggle, but I'm glad I went through that. Now
Was
I
that
started enjoy it.
during that process? Was that something you and Mike had conversations about?
All the time.
Right. I mean, because you know you're in an academy and everyone's trying to catch each other, and you know, and then you have two. You guys got your black belts about the same time.
Yeah, so around the same time, right.
And so they're what 70, 60 something, 70 something when
Right.
they got their black belts, and so
I
you
don't
have
know,
these.
two, 2012,
Yeah.
something like that.
And so
Wow, huh?
the idea of that burden of not just being a black belt, but being an older black belt who's been around for a long time, but you're like a smaller guy. There and Mike's small too.
Right.
And now you've got the bigger target on your
Right.
back. And I remember when I came back, I came up and trained with you guys and had this amazing conversation that I think Mike was telling me for both of you guys, when you got your black belts, it was like, and I mean, that happened to me. It's like, I don't know anything about jiu-jitsu. And then that kind of pushed you to start to open your mind to everything again.
Right. And also, my game was so limited. It's the same pattern. I don't have much passing guard move. And only submission is few, very limited. How could I get a black belt? Because I have my own idea of high-level black belt supposed to
Rickson
be.
Gracie in your mind as the
Yeah,
example.
That's true. But I was
Jacques.
buried that level. So how could I accept that? Because I don't even know how to take down. That's crazy.
So then what was the process?
But okay, I don't have to have a takedown. I have my own game. So if I can polish my game to the better next level, it could be okay. I have to accept it.
And how did you push that?
Well, you guys forced to be that level. I don't have
group.
to.
It's the group.
Shut
'Cause-
you down.
Yeah. So in a way, the pressure is good.
Yeah, the team, the group.
Yeah.
That's a push us to
Actually,
be better.
they like a very new black belt. Of course, they try to test it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, let's tap this new black belt out or something. That's good. That kind of pressure, I have to really push myself to the next level. Because once we start pushing ourselves to the next level, after
That's living, huh? That's living. That's really
there's
living.
no more living.
Yeah, you're dying.
Your life is done. So I'm glad I discovered this incredible, stimulating, and then healthy,
Yeah.
self-healing.
You said
Art
earlier.
of healing.
You said earlier. Yeah, jiu-jitsu. It saved you.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, before jiu-jitsu and martial art, I'm glad I discovered, but because I
Like
didn't,
jiu-jitsu
I
gave
have a
you
hobby.
a whole other focus,
Because
something that you could
jiu-jitsu
do.
give me the direction that I can put my all the focus to it. But before, I didn't even know what to do. I was so frustrated. My academy was not good. It's, uh, the martial art, jiu-jitsu, still saving my life and the motivation to push me to the different area. Not just stretching, but also I run. I run next, say exactly the same spot, bottom of the hill to the top of the hill. I have a exact landmark, and then check the time. And I have a 30, 40 years of record of my performance, size of the neck, size of the chest, so I can keep track on my progress. Or other way, I losing my
See if you're going down.
right. So I'm glad that I learned from chiropractic, acupuncture practice, because you have to keep the exact record of my patient's progress. In other words, how do I know how they're improving or not? So yeah, I have exact measurement from bottom to here, and exact size. So
Yeah, that's it.
and I can keep track of my progress. Or other way, going downwards.
What does it mean to be a black belt? Because you started jiu-jitsu not at as a kid, not as a young man, somebody in his say 20s. You're still a young man, but you started a little bit later. So what does it mean to be a black belt to you?
Because now I don't know about that question, but I it's not just skill or black belt performance. It's more like as a I wanted to become a person I can respect as a black belt, as a person. Doesn't have to be a black belt, but as a person that I can admire, that I'm looking forward to.
Somebody
I'm not there yet, so that's why I have to objectively looking at myself. Where's my weakness, or what area I need to improve? Because I wanted to be a black belt as a person, not just a Brazilian jiu-jitsu. But I realize so I've been watching so many unnecessary YouTubes and junk information. God, that's nothing to do with me. So I really have to improve. So I started looking my own weaknesses, my personality, my attitude I need to change. At the age of 72, it's kind of late, but it's always never too late. And another interesting, changing subject, but I successfully improved my hip flexibility, but I never been able to successfully improve my upper back, shoulder. So I started wondering why. Because I found the answer. Because was like this when I first started Japanese style Kempo martial art. I couldn't even sit like this because everybody else, first class, we have to sit down 5 minutes meditation. I fell back because my leg was so stiff. So I was the only one student to get a permission to have cushion underneath my butt. So that bad. But and then one day my friend took me to the Kyokushin tournament. The big guys, 200 pounds, but they can split like a big sumo guy kind of body, but they can split and bring the stomach all the way down to the floor. Oh my God, compared to that guy, I'm not that big, so I should be there. So that point, I was stretching every day. It took me 40 years to get this, but
You say it's a separate subject, but really it's the same because it's a mindset thing, right?
exactly.
The patterns are the same.
But shoulder, I never determined. So that's the big difference.
Right, but like just on the we're talking about jujitsu, and then you started talking about stretching, but it's the same thing, right? You just
Exactly.
the same mindset. Like I'm gonna keep doing my best. I'm gonna keep trying.
Now I started going to yoga class for last year or so. So now I don't want to end up with like a wrapped around posture like this. But improvement is slow, but improving nonetheless. Slow.
Never stop learning, right?
Yeah, and also that excites me.
You know, I remember when.
But another way, oh yeah,
Go ahead.
And the things started going downwards and getting stiffer and the pain. That's depressing. Because basically I'm super insecure about my health. Because like I said, I grew up with so unhealthy, and so I have a tremendous fear. I don't want to go back to that era
Ever again.
So I have to constantly push myself to next level, flexibility wise. But
As you get older, how does that change?
how does it change as I get old?
The different way that you think about it, or the different approaches that you have to things.
Oh, the young age, I just want to build up the strong muscle to beat the bullies or something, right? But now, stretching liberate me, sort of.
The mobility is the term, yeah.
Liberate myself from stuck in the jail cells. That's what I felt.
Free to move in all directions.
So I remember, Yoshi, when I came back again, and we partnered for technique quite a few times
Right.
in class. And there were many times where it was a very basic technique, like a collar choke or something. And we'd be practicing it, and then Yoshi would be like, oh. And like he had discovered this new thing, but it was such a basic technique. And part of my mind was like, Yoshi's a black belt. He's been doing this for so long. How does he not know that?
I know.
Like he's acting like
Battle
he's
technique.
never heard this before. And it kept happening. And then
Happening
I kind of
today,
realized,
every
like,
day.
you know, there were times where I'd go to a class and be like, oh yeah, I know this move. And because of that experience with Yoshi, it's like, now to me, it's like it's finding the one detail that's different, or remembering something, and having that excitement and openness to finding that little bit of change.
Yeah.
But at first I was like,
You know, the
how
choke.
did he get a black
Yeah,
belt?
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
But every little thing, he's like, oh yeah.
That's the
Every day is a
details.
You know,
discovery.
just so many little things, and so that's always
Yeah, for
been in
instance,
me
like
like
a shoulder triangle, so many ways to triangle. It's not that easy. But some people specialize in that. Yeah, we're black belt each other. We working on the detail every day, but still.
Cleaning and cleaning and
Right,
cleaning.
right, right.
Making it
So
better and
many,
better and
because
better.
I hardly
So
know
many details.
details at all yet. So many area to work on in detail.
I have a question for you, Felicia. What doesn't black belt mean to you?
And it's just one of the milestones, and you just keep going. You know, it's a marker on the freeway.
What does that marker mean?
You know, I think it changes over time. You know, I think when you're on your way to it, it's the top of the mountain. And then you get there and you go,
This is just the beginning.
this isn't anything. I mean, you know, there are different people and different attitudes
Sure.
about it. You know, I think some people get their black belt and they feel like they're at the end and they've received and they know everything. And there's no judgment in that. But I think a lot of people, and I've heard other people say, you feel like you're a beginner again. And especially when you start teaching, you're like, oh my gosh, how do I do this? Because now you have to start reverse engineering and breaking down and translating, communicating to someone else and trying to instill the knowledge in them, which is a whole nother skill. And then I think, I don't know, I think it's almost like you get to the mountain, you go, this isn't what I thought it was, which I think maybe happens to everybody at some level trying to accomplish something. And you have to find other things there, like what I was just talking about with Yoshi. Like he'd be so excited to find out some detail, and I'm thinking, doesn't he already know this? But for him, it was a detail that was missing. And then
there's levels. I mean, come on, look at Kron Gracie, look at like a Hodger with the front choke. One front choke isn't equal across the board.
No. And so then you're always trying to get closer and closer to becoming more efficient or better at executing those things. And to find those things, if you don't make that transition, which I think generally comes sometime after you get your black belt, I think you quit or die, right? And so just recently, you had the Wilder Fury rematch, and Tyson Fury. I mean, that's an example. His whole career was about beating Klitschko. Once he got there, he had nothing else. And then he went into this whole mental drugs, all this out of control, gaining weight, everything. And it took something for him to find that purpose again. And I think we always have to keep doing that. And I think jiu-jitsu and life, I mean, those things both have it built in, but it goes back to what Yoshi said. It's upon you to find out what that is. Sometimes the competition helps, like getting ready for competitions. That's like one thing that can keep you kind of motivated and focused, and then.
Which you think has for us, right?
Yeah. And then there are other times where it's just like, let me just play around for a while and have fun. And it's more like a playful thing. But I think it's always kind of changing. And I think, also being a black belt at some level with certain people, like all it means is that you have the experience that you can sometimes control what you want to work on during a role with people. At the most basic level, it's like you have a little more skill and experience that you can have some more control. Because I remember starting out, it's like, I don't get to work on anything I want. I'm just getting my ass kicked. But, I've had some incredible conversations with Yoshi, with different black belts. I mean, that's such a part of jiu-jitsu on the side of the mat. You're having these conversations, especially with people who have been in the sport for a long time. And it always ends up connecting to our lives. And like I said, we've had some incredible conversations. And the other day, there was something that we were talking about, and I was like, we got to go to Alberto. You got to be on this podcast, because he just has such a wide experience going through all that chiropractic and the Rickson stuff and all. Like, this is amazing. Such an amazing thing. And I'm like, people don't really know about him. And he has so much to share.
Yeah, that was like an accident. Rickson School was several blocks from my place.
From where you worked and lived, right, at the time?
Yeah, as a chiropractor, acupuncturist. Yeah, Pico and Sepulveda.
And how many years later? 25, 30? Yeah, but 25 years, huh?
80.
26 years?
93, 94.
Yeah, 93, 94.
Long journey.
Is jiu-jitsu the fountain of youth?
What?
Is jiu-jitsu the fountain of youth?
Well, it's just the driving force.
For you.
Absolutely. And still, like we talk about, so many things I'm missing, so many technique I need to go into detail. So many simple technique I'm not doing good enough. like simple joke.
And then the crappy thing is like you roll with Yoshi, and then he either sees something you do, or you say, "Oh yeah, this can help this," and then he just starts doing it on you all the time, and you just want to like take it back and not help him because he just keeps doing your stuff to you.
Interesting, because it's like a personality against different personality, right? It's all this, each individual different personality comes straight out. You cannot hide your feelings. You can feel the other opponent's fear sometimes, and it's a therapy. In other words, you deal with your own feelings, emotions, and how to overcome the fear, and how to avoid the panic.
And it makes you a better person.
Exactly. It's a great panic management.
You've had you've enjoyed a lot of the conversations with Yoshi, Felicia. What's one of your favorite conversations that you've had with them?
Well, mostly just rolling and shit talking.
Yeah, she's tricky. It's like try to let her
She's all
move, and then
nice,
she's gonna
yeah.
take advantage. Right.
Wait! You do that too. Sorry.
You are.
Yoshi,
Well, that's part of the game.
Yoshi would like smash a wrist lock on you hard. They do. Oh,
I know.
sorry,
Try not to
sorry."
use my strengths. It's small, right? But if I try not to take advantage, then she take advantage for movement. She's tricky.
Well, Yoshi always calls out, "I'm a senior citizen." He always plays that card.
Let's go half speed, or let's go slow.
But actually, she's really
And then he smashes.
moving, changing.
Yeah.
So it's getting more trickier. She moves more left to right and top, and it's
But it's fun too, because like we roll pretty much every couple times, 3 times a week, right?
right.
And then it's you know each other's game pretty well, and so then it's always so much fun to foil their moves, all in the name of helping them get better.
That's what it's about, right?
That's it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give him any move he wants, just because I'm trying to help you get better.
But everybody wants to improve their own game, right? So those battle of the incredible energy, beating up each other and helping each other, and
But yeah, we
And
always
then
have
we
these great conversations after that. I mean,
right.
coming here was just one of those. He was. You think you said you were kind of prioritizing some parts of your life. Like Yoshi has this ranch, this land ranch
Yeah,
that he's by himself has
and
done incredible things.
4 cottages and 4 people.
You
living.
built,
We help each other. Yeah,
but you built 2 saunas. Is it 2 saunas?
1 sauna and 1 pizza
oven.
Oh, I gotta call
the
you up,
scratch.
Yoshi, to help me out build a sauna here.
Composting toilet.
Yeah, composting toilet and
And just the place is incredible. He's
pigs and
he has
chicken.
pigs, chickens,
What else?
tortoise.
Oh,
turtle.
tortoise! I forgot. Sorry.
And then even on the fencing, you took all the old tree
Yeah.
branches and weaved them in. So he's got this ongoing project.
It's like Mr. Miyagi, the
Which
next level of Mr. Miyagi. Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Amazing.
And he's just doing it by himself, right, for years.
Right, but now came to the point. God, I really wanted to concentrate on something I love to do. I wanted maximize my health because I'm not healthy enough. If I don't push myself to the next level, so I'm gonna stagnate.
How much do you sleep every night?
How many hours?
Yeah.
Probably 6 to 7. I
Okay.
think. Again, I wake up a lot for pee. I think it's old.
I talked to Alan, Savage. He's 74, and he only sleeps like 4 hours.
That's healthy.
Yeah, but he says like I do better when I sleep less as I've gotten older.
Oh, you know what's really worked good? It started eating less.
Yeah, that's the other thing we were talking about the other day.
Yeah.
You used to do like a intermittent fasting.
exactly. I got sick last year, 2 months ago, so 3 months ago, so I stagnated and then no energy, and I started worry about some kind of colon cancer or something. I don't go to doctor, so I don't know, but really started worry about it. So I should start doing fasting because I've been eating too much carbs and cookies and stuff like that. Cut down most of the carbs and once or twice per meal, intermittent fasting for several times. That really helped.
Do you
Back
eat
to
meat?
normal. I hardly eat any meat except like last Tuesday. I went to
Joe's restaurant,
Joe's
Yang's
restaurant.
Kitchen, over in
Right,
Alhambra.
right. And God, I gotta eat this
Yeah, for
grass-fed
sure.
beef. That haven't
Grass-fed
eat
beef?
Yeah, I haven't eaten beef for 3-4 years.
Okay.
But now I'm not strict vegan anymore. So, but mostly veggies, rice, but just occasional fishes. Yeah.
Do you eat eggs?
Not willingly, but since chicken started laying so much eggs, so I have to.
You have egg
maybe a
chickens
few
also.
times per week.
Chickens
Yeah.
at the
Mhm.
at the
Oh, yeah,
fo-
yeah, yeah.
at your place.
And he
So
has,
mostly I give it to my neighbor.
he has 2 big pigs, so eventually he's going to have a bunch of bacon.
You know what?
Oh my god. What's that cartoon with the pig cartoon?
Pig, they don't eat that much because I don't feed them too much because
They're anorexic pigs.
it's better to underfed because for my experience, it's better to undereat than overeat.
The pigs.
Fed myself. I do the same thing because the more you feed, the more all the foods they eat. So, but neighbor also bring the foods too. So I just give little small cup of dry food.
You know, when you said you kind of phased out your chiropractic and acupuncture practice and started doing more jiu-jitsu.
Oh, jiu-jitsu is part of the my health training, but also I run and then go to yoga.
But you were doing that for for work.
Yeah.
What kind of work
25.
did you do? I guess as you phased out of that, did you do something?
I rented out my office space for other chiropractor and acupuncturists.
Oh, I see.
And then I got an income. I bought the
building.
Building.
I see.
So that really helped. And and that was a 3-unit apartment
Okay.
building, commercial complex. So
Nice. And then you're able to do more jiu-jitsu.
yeah, jiu-jitsu and training and yoga, because in my office always have chin-up bars and all those calisthenic equipment. Because that's how I become healthy, not from the treatment.
I have to have you come in and do a tackle class one of these mornings.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Some movement, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think you'll enjoy. Yeah, it's really helped me in my life. So, and everybody that does it, really, they do consistent.
But that's because you already focused to become training jiu-jitsu when you were 14,
I was like 18,
18.
right out of high school.
That's
Right.
incredible
Yeah.
focus, incredible.
And at that time period.
I know.
Yeah,
Even,
it was
before.
It was the Fight Club days, right? So it was like, okay, what? I just wanted to just learn, but it was Fight Club days. It was a different time. And then, moved to Brazil. Right?
Wait, how did you find out about jiu-jitsu in the first place?
So there was a student of Carlos Machado who's a Navy SEAL, and he happened to move to New Mexico.
Before UFC era.
It's actually right at the same time.
Mm.
So 94 is the year I started, but I think he started teaching in 93. So he had lived in California.
Wow, the same time I
and then
started.
and then he moved to New Mexico. Luckily, or maybe unluckily, not for sure. Luckily,
But he opened up a place?
he just started
or-
teaching out of this like a karate place, I think, or some martial art place, one time a week. And then when I started, he started teaching twice a week. And then I did one class. My friend armbarred me like 10 times. I couldn't believe it. That's why I said, let's go again, let's go again, let's go again. And then I never missed a class after that.
Wow, I had the same kind of experience because the first class, I went to the night class, right? So because I was a little confident for other martial arts
Yeah.
and doing weights and then little Chinese guy, Ryan, that's his name, blue belt or purple belt, I forgot. He put me in his guard. Oh, I can get out of this place easy. And I stretched out, and then he armbar me. Holy shit, what is this? Wow, this is something. I was so impressed. God, I got to start come back to the
You
class.
tried to get out and you couldn't get
This
out.
little guy can armbar me. I have no idea how it happens. So fascinated.
Yeah.
And one
And
day.
the wheel started turning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, so I go less and less focus on my work because I went to the class during the lunchtime and came back with already head was spinning and sweating and I gotta quit this thing some point. It's so much fun, jujitsu.
What would you change if you had to go back in time for yourself when you first started doing jiu-jitsu? What would you have maybe have done better if you had an opportunity to go back in time?
I wanted to back to the basic side control, the basics, period, and the weight distribution and tightness, and
Really focus on the basics.
right,
Training
exactly.
with Rickson at the time too.
That's what Rickson's so good at, basics, and the detail. Is I couldn't even explain it. It's like little.
There's
Weight
levels. That's why when he's
distribution.
like, oh, a front choke.
I was
It's not-
too much of the beginner to get that detail.
So just being able to just appreciate and know there's levels in the basic and the fundamentals.
Yeah, that was a period. Yeah, that reminds me of your place because it's like a warehouse atmosphere, and then the window was broken, and there's a Rickson Gracie sign. I couldn't find a place to start with. The sign was so small, in handwritten sign hanging, and then next to the little car shop and furniture.
It was
course.
the choke video.
I
The way
could-
I think it's in there, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't see them.
Man, those were the real days, huh?
Right. And there's no exact time for the class because whenever you go, somebody's training.
What time would the gym open?
Supposed to be 7 in the morning or 8 in the morning, but the Brazilian thing. Sometimes teacher didn't show up, and then students waiting outside at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
But
What-
lunch, morning and night, and then we share a place with the Shotokan.
Okay, I see.
After 7 or 8, Shotokan. So
Comes
we
in.
need to fold the floor mat every time.
Oh, I see. So there was
Then
another.
push it to the other
They
side.
taught at night. They
Right.
had another martial art there.
Mhm.
So it was mainly during the day.
Right.
I see.
It's no air conditioning and no heater, but nobody's complaining.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's also LA, and they're Brazilian, so they're not going to complain about the heat.
Right. And nobody washed the gi and hanging from the outside.
Do you remember? I don't know if you were.
It's
Yeah,
dirty
they had
gi.
the '96 Pan Americans in Los Angeles, and you went to the hotel because they had the weigh-ins the day before, right? Back in those days, so they had the weigh-ins at some hotel in Redondo. No, it was by the airport.
Oh, I
And all the
remember
Brazilian guys, all the people traveling from from Brazil, pretty much, they had their gis hanging out on the balcony.
that. I believe you.
It was like man, I hung out with Eddie Bravo, like forgot a couple. Maul Easton was there, and we all hung out. That's actually the first time I met him. It was at the '96 Pans, and his blue belt and up. There's no white belts at those, no white belt tournaments really at those times.
Right.
But I remember like
that.
the scene.
Oh, the dirty gears.
It was
hanging.
like all these like gnarly like fighter guys, like because back then it was like the era of the Vale Tudo, and
Right,
proving
right,
jiu-jitsu was the
exactly.
best martial art. And then there was actually a tournament, and then you went into the hotel, and I don't know what the hotel management was thinking, right? Like, how do we let these guys in here, you know?
Giant.
Well,
Oh,
ears.
the giant ears, you
That
know, like no
ringworms.
necks. Yeah, no necks, right? Walking around. They're probably like that. You have to put your shirt back on, you know?
And it kind of smells.
Man, but there, I just remember like the geese. I mean, it was a different
Different
scene.
era.
Yeah, what a era to be a part of. Wow. Yeah, I was just
We used the
fascinated.
judo gi back in those days.
Yeah,
Rick.
yeah, because they didn't have jiu-jitsu gis at those
Not
times.
yet.
Yeah, the Krugen's kimono when I moved to Brazil was the first jiu-jitsu gi. I think that flake and some other ones, but you know, like I think
Right.
Krugen's kimono was like the first one that they made. Like the cut was a little bit slimmer.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like I think it was a KI, the brand that I used to wear back in the day. And then you actually got like the blue belt with the lighter blue. There was like different blue belts. I don't know if you remember that. It was like before your time a little bit, maybe.
But they were all
Right.
different shades all the time.
Yeah, but the ones from Brazil, they had like a lighter blue.
So the referees knew
Oh,
who
you're
was from
right.
Brazil.
No, just the ones you buy here. They were like
Darker.
kind of karate or judo ones,
Oh.
so they were
Right.
darker blue. But in Brazil, they, you know, not everyone, but overall. Yeah.
All of a sudden, Brazilian culture came with the Brazilian jiu-jitsu, like acai.
Yeah.
And those food. That's
We brought that Brazilian culture here to Burbank.
exactly. You're
Yeah.
right. You did.
Yeah, it was such a big part of my life growing up, in my youth, that I had to keep it going.
And Ponge Cage. Or
Ponge
something,
Cage,
right,
yeah.
right. Yeah, I've been through that.
How many you went to? You went to
Mhm.
Rio, right? A couple times. How was that
4
experience?
Oh, that was a quite experience. And then I took a class, and it's training was really incredible.
Mm.
Uh,
Where did you train?
I trained with the little Limon, Luis,
Mm.
and at the Rickson students. But also the second time
Was it the Gracie, the Horla Gracie's gym?
No. Where did we train? We went to different places, and not much training. First time I visited him, but the second time I went with another Luis, little Luis,
Mm.
Claudia. So I stayed at his home, and Claudia had a little studio.
Okay.
So and then I learned different techniques.
Yeah. Talking to the microphone.
sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Yeah. So and then
You went to the beach.
acai
You went to the
too.
beach. You went to the beach
Of course.
every day.
Almost every day he took me all over.
Did you wear Speedos?
What?
Did you wear little Speedos at the beach?
Speedos, the short, tiny
I
underwear.
didn't- Oh no! I did wear speedos in Japan too, because that's a.
You know, Yoshi's still showing off his 6-pack, 8-pack in the locker room.
no.
I don't know. Recently, we've been spotted on social media
No,
flexing
somebody
them.
forced me. David forced me to take the jacket off. Well, no, I don't want to do it. But no, Yoshi, please. God, that's such a.
Coconut water on the beach.
Yeah. And the surfing, everybody. I'm not a good surfer.
But you tried.
Yeah, beach. And
You
hot
surfed?
And
You tried to surf.
no, I
No.
failed. I'm
It's
not a good.
It's pretty
'Cause
fast over
see,
there. in
another
Rio.
things, my back bend was so bad.
Mm.
So probably I'll be able to in 5 years or so, if I can able to stretch. Yeah, it's a great, incredible culture.
Yeah, yeah.
So you've been there so many times.
Yeah, I lived there
right?
for many years when I was
Many years.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you speak
Speak fluent Portuguese.
Alberto
really-
was the first American to really immerse
Yeah.
I didn't
himself
know
in
One
the
of the
that.
first,
jiu-jitsu
one of the
world
first Americans to go down there and compete at the high level.
and just live.
Like the Gracie Ball Association, right? Like I was
Wow.
their first American black belt.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I took a bus to one of the tournaments with Yuki Nakai. We were hanging out and just chit chatting. He was like a purple belt at the time. I think I was too. We sat on the bus.
Yuki Nakai.
Yeah, we sat on the
He
bus
was
together.
purple belt.
Yeah, we were sitting on the bus together, going to the tournament
Together.
in Rio de Janeiro. We're like, hey, he didn't speak English. I didn't speak Japanese, but
But you saw each other's geese and you knew.
well, I knew who he was, and he saw how I looked, and
Yeah.
we had probably jiu-jitsu stuff on.
So I saw Nakai is teaching Japanese judo Olympic team as a
Iwaza, yeah.
game.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw that film. So they really incorporating a little bit.
They have to. They have to.
Yeah.
I mean, the last Olympics, right? I mean, you have to.
Right. Yeah, the Olympic gonna be held in this year in Japan. Maybe
Right?
not.
Wow.
Never know.
The coronavirus.
Yeah, corona things.
Yeah, we'll see. How was it transitioning to Jean-Jacques? What are some...
Oh, that was because I was so loyal to Rickson students. Who it's difficult to change, but one of my jiu-jitsu Rickson students, Aaron, called me one day, Yoshi, I found a good school. I'm training at Jean-Jacques. Where at? Reseda.
Tarzana,
Wow.
Reseda.
Well, I was living in Westwood, that area. Wow, that's not too far. Yoshi, check that out. It's pretty friendly, and Jean-Jacques is great. So I checked the place, and people friendly, and accepted immediately. So I started there as a blue belt. I was with Rickson. That was 2001, 2000.
At Jean-Jacques?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Ever
been quite a
since.
few years, huh?
Oh, you were there right after I started.
Wow, 2000.
'Cause I started 2000, end of 2000.
So you were there. You were in 2000, and he was 2001.
Yeah. But you probably went to the noon class
Right.
with the
Yeah.
big kids. I was at the beginner class with the white
right.
belts.
Yeah. Yeah, Jean-Jacques, Eddie Blavo, and who else?
Joe,
Joe and
Todd White,
Todd White, Todd Nathanson, right?
Lou.
Oh, Lou, right.
What do you appreciate about Jean-Jacques' style? Not even his style, but just his way of teaching and the...
Jean-Jacques is there all the time, and he answers every question. He still loves jiu-jitsu. He's there all the time for us, and that's more than I appreciate.
He's there.
And he still loves jiu-jitsu, so you can tell.
I think about him. I think about Draculino because they're both in the gym. They still love jiu-jitsu, and I'm like, I want to be like these guys.
And right.
When I want to be like these guys. They're like role models.
But you know one thing, because I used to keep all the detail in my notebook in Japanese and English both. I have this much book. Then I get back to my old notebook. I couldn't figure it out. Put my hands, wrap the right sleeve, and so I stopped writing all those detailed notes. So I try to remember through my body memory, but it's hard. Like you said, I couldn't. Those detailed choke move, I must have learned from way before, but I completely forgot about that.
But I also found going back and reading stuff, two things. Either you can understand what you wrote, or you wrote it wrong. You're like, wait, because now you have this more knowledge, right? Especially when you're beginning, it's like, no, you don't put the left hand there. It's the right hand, you know? So eventually I stopped writing too.
Also,
You stopped writing as well?
Yeah.
I know why kids learn jiu-jitsu so quick, intuitively, because we try to learn through logic or writing, but the kids can intuitively learn through feeling or something.
feeling, but
She's
they also we
amazing.
have video, man. We can record ourselves doing the technique. So it's like
I
there's
know.
no detail that's lost,
That's
right?
right.
And we learn the things
Except
like
for
right
the
away.
invisible jujitsu.
Yeah, no, it's no laughing matter. I believe in that because when the Rickson mounted, you feel it.
He went
Just
to
subtle
he went
move.
to Fabio Leopoldo's gym in Thousand Oaks like some years ago, probably like 10 years already ago, and I he was teaching a seminar. I was like, I gotta go because I never got to train with him, and I have to say, yeah, he showed mount, and yeah, it was different.
Fabio Gugel?
No,
Hickson.
Rickson.
Hickson taught.
But it's
Showed
so crazy.
basic things, but I was like, I learned, you know. I mean, I'd been a black
Basic
belt
things,
already
but
for
it's like totally different.
right.
Mhm.
And you're
right,
like, wait,
right,
what is he
right,
doing?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's levels, huh? There's levels. That's why you have to always stay humble and always listen to the masters and to the guys who've put in the years. I think, you know, not think you're better than that
Right.
guy because you know how to do something new. But there's levels, right, on the basic things.
Yeah, and also I was there when the challenger came to our school and the bloody shirts
Ja-
hanging.
Oh, you talking about the Hickson,
Yeah,
old
yeah,
school
yeah.
Hickson, yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
yeah. What advice would you give to a new student coming in?
Just having fun and enjoy and excited about your progress, and it's you. Those people are lucky to find the passion in this healing out of training. Really, I take it as a self-healing art.
Mm.
Yeah, that's
Self-healing,
how I
right?
found my weaknesses and my pattern and same old, same old. So unless I change it, I'm going to be the same for the rest of my life. I don't want to be like
You want to be your best. It's a tool for you to be your
that.
best.
Little by little, push to myself to the next level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Flexibility-wise, mindset-wise, strength-wise, cardio-wise too.
I hope it never ends for me, for all of us,
Right.
till the end. You know, we're training, and all those things are important, right? The mobility and all the awareness practices, the breath. I mean, all the old school Hickson stuff, right? That he used to do.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks so much for hanging out.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, it's an honor to talk to you and hear your story. Thank you, Felicia, for hanging out too. People want to find you. They Jean-Jacques Mat, right?
Jacques Mat, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at noon.
At noon.
It's the only place you can find Yoshi.
Oh,
Don't
right,
bother
right.
trying to call him.
He has a
doesn't know.
phone.
He has
You
one of
told-
those phones that
No,
You have
I
to
usually turn it
crank.
off because I don't want to be bothered. I don't go through the all the social media or stuff like that.
he's
You
got
just use it to
Yeah,
actually you don't answer. You just use it to
emergency.
call somebody.
Yeah, I don't even know how to set up a lot of things.
he has to
I
find.
don't want to know.
He has to find. He only uses it like if he has to find a tortoise that ran away or something.
Right. Actually, one
escaped.
tortoise didn't come back. Little.
Can I get you some acai? Can I
Oh,
buy you
that's
an
a good
acai?
idea.
Perfect. All right. Good. We'll do that. Thank you.
All
Thank you, Yoshi.
right.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Felicia. All right.